Okay, in this here one I'm going to show you how to make a pause menu. Pretty simple one. Again, we're going to start off by scrolling down, user interface, and creating a widget. I'm going to call this pause m_widget. Open that up, and to start off with, I'm just going to have a button, which I'm going to resize. You can be a lot more careful when you're resizing it and align it. And then I'm going to put a text box in this here. I'm going to use our previous font, and I'll just call this resume. And another button. Again, you can be a bit more careful than I am about sizes. Change the font in this here one, and I'll call this quit game. I'll need to make that bigger. Okay, so resume quit game. I'm just going to move these down slightly. They're going to appear in the middle. Again, you don't have to use just this block. You can use an image or something like that, like we have used in previous versions or previous videos. And then what we're going to do is we are going to click on this button here, and we're going to go on clicked for this here. We're going to type in paused, set game paused to false. Okay. And then back to our designer, we're going to click quit game. And we are going to go down to on clicked again. And then we're going to type in quit game. And I could have another one for main menu, which would, open our level for main menu. So I just type in level. So open level, and then it would be on clicked, the other button plugged into this here one, and you would just type in the level name for your main menu level. And compile. And nothing's going to show yet. One other thing we probably should do for the pause one is we're going to show our mouse maybe. You can get this set up for the controller like the previous version or video that we've had, so you can look through that. But just now I'm going to use the mouse, so I'm going to just type in player, and it's going to be get player controller. Pull from that, type in mouse, and you scroll down to the bottom, and it's set to show mouse cursor. Leave that to false. That should be okay. So when we press resume, if we are showing the mouse cursor, it's going to remove it as well. So compile into our player, and for this you can use the escape key if you want to pause it, but in the editor if you press escape it exits the game. So for now I'm just going to test it for P. Okay, just going to right click, press P. Okay, and with this here I'm going to make sure that it can execute when paused. Okay, so that's pretty important. And then we're going to pull out of this a branch. No, actually we're just going to pull out this and type in paused. Set game paused. Do true. And we're going to pull out of this create widget. I'm going to choose our paused. So type in pause here to find it. And we're going to put up a viewport. So add the viewport. That's another thing, back to our HUD widget, our pause widget. I'm going to also remove this from, so I'm going to type in remove, and remove from parent. Okay. So that's just going to remove the widget after we unpause it. So compile, save, back to our character. So when we press P, it's going to pause it. It's going to create this widget. It's going to add it to the viewport. In our pause menu widget, when we click on the resume button, it's going to unpause it. It's going to disable our cursor and remove this widget. And then if we hit the quit button, it's just going to quit the game. It's another thing, I'm going to have to get my player controller here and type in mouse just so I can see my mouse when we pause it. So show mouse. make that true. Compile, save, and I'll save the widget as well. Press play, key comes up, so I can resume. So it resumes it. Press key again. If I quit the game, it'll exit out. So that's just a quick and simple pause menu. Again, in the designer you can have other widgets or other buttons for, you know, main menu options, that type of thing. You can have a background image which is slightly transparent, so when you pause it, it kind of grays out the background, which would be a good idea as well, just to kind of give that extra feedback that the game is paused.